Hi there. This is Lee Van Lair, and you're going to be treated to another one of my ad-lib mistranslations of Meister Eckhart today. We're still working on Sermon 5, and it turns out that the same errors of translation that were made in the first few paragraphs continue, surprise, in the rest of the sermon. And it's rather important that we understand the distinctions here because the errors that are made are in regard to the word love. And the sermon, of course, is all about God's love. But the thing is, he doesn't use the word love in it. So what's going on here? Well, he uses a different word. He uses diomine, which basically means a receptive self remembering in archaic German. And just in case we think that Meister Eckhart was using it in the romantic sense that it had acquired by the time he was alive, let's remember that he was a scholar and an expert on linguistics and preaching, and that he well knew that the word used to mean remembering and that the dieu was feminine. So he was totally aware of the fact that he was saying that God's receptive remembering, which is reciprocal, was the subject of the sermon. And yes, it is God's love, but it isn't God's love the way we understand it when we read the word love today. So I'm going to read you my new mistranslation of this section of the sermon, these two paragraphs. Keep in mind that I do speak fluent German. I grew up in Germany. And even though some of the words in it are archaic, it is not difficult to read the whole sermon in German because German has not, surprisingly, changed all that much since Meister Eckhart was writing. So here's the radical woohoo, new translation of Meister Eckhart, Sermon 5, paragraphs basically about 3 and 4. God is mindful, loving awareness. Now, dear children, I invite you, pay attention. God holds my soul so dear that his life and his being stand upon the remembering of my soul, whether he wishes it or not. If you take this away, that he is conscious of my soul, then his very godness would be taken away. For God is truly a remembering of himself, as he is a truth, and as truly a goodness as he is a conscious remembering. This is plain and naked truth, as truly as God lives. Earlier masters have claimed that the arrival of conscious remembering, this receiving within us, is the Holy Spirit. But this is not so. Consider this. When we eat physical food, we change it into ourselves. The ordinary food we receive transforms itself into us. But this spiritual food we receive changes us into itself. Therefore, conscious love is not something we take into ourselves, for that would be two things, a separation. Rather, conscious love consumes us, taking us into itself so that we are one with it. Such as the repose of the color on the wall is, it depends on the wall for its being. In the same way, all creatures are held in existence by conscious love, which is God. If you were to pull the wall away from its color, the color would cease to be. Just so, all things would vanish if they were separated from the love that is God. God is the mindful, loving awareness of receptive remembering. And whoever lives in this lives in God, and God lives in him. I think you can see that when we change the word love into words closer to what he was getting at, that we are suddenly in the very deep end of a very deep pool. There are mysteries here. The mysteries are greater than the question of love itself, which is, in a certain sense, unquestionable. The mysteries are about relationship, remembering our relationship with God and the way in which it is needed. We remember by becoming receptive, and God does, in a certain sense, according to this sermon, the same thing. We receive one another in unity. There is no separation, and love becomes whole. Well, I won't deny it. There's a lot to think about here, so I'll leave you to it until the next episode of Inner Christianity. Thanks for listening.